Okay, so we haven't talked about this, but I think we should.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, guys. So we're going to talk about some San Antonio Spurs basketball. Of course we are, because I have not talked about this preseason game whatsoever, and this was the one that we won. And I did get a few DMs like, "Clan, are you going to talk about it?" But I didn't really want to because it wasn't a ton to take away from it. But then you know what? There is a few things to take away, and I want to talk to you guys about it because I think there's a few misconceptions about some of these players, or at least at the very least, I have a way different take than a majority, or at least what I've seen of some Spurs fans. All right, maybe not majority. All right, clanthemerchfan.com. Okay, you want to support clanthemerchfan.com. I also do custom orders. So if there's something that you like and you like, I want it on the back or I want something special, it's going to be a few extra dollars, man, but just hit me up. There's the email right here. But here's the thing. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm a little backed up, so be patient with me. There was a few really big orders that I have to still fulfill. So that's what I'm working on right now. And between working 9 to 5 and doing all these videos, it's kind of hard sometimes, but I'm going to come through. I always come through. So don't worry. So just know if you do order right now, it might be a little bit of a wait, but I'm going to get it done as soon as I can. But I do appreciate all the love nonetheless, and I'm not going to complain. Like all the love, all of the orders that I've gotten, it means the absolute world to me. So I'm not going to complain. All right, so let's talk about this. Whew. All right, San Antonio Spurs. And there is a clip of Josh Primo that I want to show because obviously, look, I know that was like out of nowhere. It's like we're talking about the Spurs and you got to talk about Josh Primo. Well, he's also in the thumbnail, and you'll know why in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, so overall, how did everyone do? Well, as a team, we went 47.7% field goal percentage, 35.5 3-point percentage, 72.7 free throw percentage. Not bad whatsoever. And if you look at this score, the Spurs actually did way better than this. Okay, it looked close. It was not close. We absolutely blew them out. Now don't get me wrong. Utah Jazz, they still didn't have like some of their key players out there. Obviously, Colin Sexton did play. Only took 7 shots, but we didn't necessarily have Conley out there. So they just didn't have their full squad. Okay. But we went all in this game. Now, I'm going to go player by player, and then we're going to talk about Josh Primo. Okay, so first and foremost, Jeremy Sohan. So as you can see here, 0 for 4 from 3. Now, we talked about this before we even drafted him, but yeah, he's just not a great shooter. It's very unfortunate because when I look at his release, it doesn't look bad, but maybe he's just launching it a little too much. So he's going to need some work there. And hopefully over this season or over the course of this season, he can do some minor fixes. It's not completely broken, but it's just something off. And I'm not a shot doctor. I'm not like an expert in shooting by any means. I'm still learning like you guys. So, but as far as what I've seen, my eye test, and I could be completely wrong, it looks like it's kind of a launch. Okay. He's just launching it a little too much. But hey, that's besides the point. Kelden Johnson. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Kelden Johnson, this is what I love about him, okay? This is what I absolutely love about Kelden Johnson. I appreciate the fact that Kelden Johnson knows what he is, and he has perfected what he is. And what Kelden Johnson is he's a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, and he is a driver of the basketball. That is it. There's almost no mid-range game when it comes to Kelden Johnson whatsoever, okay? You're either seeing him catch and shoot for 3 or you're seeing him drive and making a beautiful layup, okay? And using his big body to get into the lanes. And now that he lost some weight, he looks a little bit quicker as well. It's a perfect storm. And I've said this over and over, and Popovich basically said this too, okay? So I don't feel bad for saying it anymore. Kelden Johnson is, by definition, a role player. But he's a really good role player. And some people say, well, he's all-star. Role players can be all-stars as well. But all I'm saying is he has perfected that. And his shot looks beautiful. I would argue, and I don't have the analytics behind this, but I would say, or at least I'll make the assumption, that he's one of the best three-point shooting, or at least catch-and-shoot three-point shooting players in the league by far. He is just so crispy with his jump shot. and he's pretty patient, or more patient than he used to be when getting into the paint. But I just wanted to say that I absolutely love it. He did wonderful this game, and he never once, and not once, and this is important. He never once played outside himself or did anything that he wasn't capable of doing. That's what I was trying to say. I cannot speak, but he didn't do anything that he wasn't capable of doing. Every single thing was in the realm of being comfortable, but at the same time, he has perfected that. And I love players that can do that, that knows what they do well and say, screw it, I'm going to perfect it. Kelden Johnson is not a phenomenal ball handler, okay? He's not a phenomenal passer or anything like that. He's not a mid-range scorer. He's not even like super great at creating his own shot, but boy, oh boy, can he catch and shoot, and can he drive? In this game, I think he really showed it. He was scoring on every single person, and it wasn't like the Utah Jazz weren't trying. They were guarding him, but his body, his quickness now that he has, it was just too much for them. So big praise to Kelden Johnson, dude. We got a bargain with his contract. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So I'm really looking forward to him this upcoming season. Jakob, not much to really say here, to be honest. Jakob was doing Jakob type things. Nothing really there. Made some really good passes. There was one pass in particular that Sohan made, in which I believe Jakob Pertl passed it to him in the corner, and he immediately passed it out, and it was a beautiful shot. I think by Devin Vassell. It was even Devin Vassell and Kelden Johnson, but we'll get there. Trey Jones. Okay, so here's the thing. A lot of people said that Josh Primo was playing really hard in this game. It felt like Trey Jones was playing really hard in this game, but nothing has necessarily changed for me. And I know a lot of people are like, why do you do this to Trey? I don't hate Trey. Like, I like Trey Jones as a player. I think he's a good player. I think he's a solid point guard. And honestly, the more I look into this starting lineup, if this is what we're going to roll with, I would rather us just roll with this and have Primo come off the bench at this point. I really had to think about it, because to be honest with you, it was a lot of dumping it off to Devin Vassell and Kelden Johnson. And if that's going to be the case, what's the point of Primo being out there? Like, you want to be able to utilize his scoring, or at least get him comfortable in that role of scoring on his own. And that wouldn't be the case if he was starting at point guard right now. So maybe they'll change it up. But right now, from what the vets are saying, it sounds like, and even what Kelden Johnson said, it sounds like the team has all uniformly agreed to give Kelden Johnson and Devin Vassell the ball like every single time. And I don't think you necessarily need Primo for that, to set that up. But Trey Jones, it seemed like he was really trying to play hard to maybe potentially keep that point guard position, because even Pop said he's not sure if this is going to be the starting lineup forever, and things can change. So, obviously Trey Jones want to keep that position. But everything that I saw from him, this 4 for 5, really good. 5 for 5 free throw. That's what I care about probably the most. But this 4 for 5, it was a lot of floaters, and that's kind of his game. Didn't shoot any threes, but you don't really have to, especially when the team is not afraid to launch them. Devin Vassell. So here's the thing. Once again, not necessarily shocked. A lot of people will look at these stats and say, oh my God, he freaking went off, man. He was incredible. Don't get me wrong. He was good, but he was Devin Vassell of last year. If you guys recall, in these past few games, without Kelden Johnson and Devin Vassell had to be the main scorer, it wasn't gorgeous. Okay, it wasn't the best thing in the world. He was definitely finding more of the open guys. I was actually shocked by his vision. I was like, wow, I did not know Devin Vassell had that type of vision. But in this game in particular, this was the Devin Vassell that I've seen all of last season and the season prior, is a player that kind of needs setup. And strangely enough, Kelden Johnson was the one that gave him a few of those setups, at least a couple of them. And yeah, that was just kind of the case here. Devin Vassell, he didn't necessarily create his own shot a ton. It was a lot of catch and shooting, kind of close to what Kelden Johnson can do. So I just wanted to point that out. But man, he's really good at it. Like, he's really, really good at it. So we'll wait and see how things pan out. But as it stands right now, Devin Vassell was very solid. Kelden Johnson was very solid. But in actuality, you might look at these stats and get excited. But if you watch the game, you'll know it wasn't how you thought it was. Okay, they weren't out there crossing people hezzy, step back. It was none of that. Okay, but moving on. Isaiah Roby didn't play a ton. I'm surprised it was 10 minutes. It felt like it was less than that, to be honest with you. But yeah, 10 minutes. I don't know. Johnson, nothing there. I would not be surprised because you guys know we got to cut a couple people. I would not be surprised if Johnson's one of the ones that get cuts. From what I've seen thus far, and I know it's just a few preseason games, I'm just not impressed, man. I am not impressed. Now I know it's been like garbage time, but dude, man, I don't know. Don Barlow barely played, not much there. These guys basically came in the fourth when we were already like blowing them out. Doug McDermott, nothing really that we know what to expect from him. I'm not gonna harp on it. KBD, I really want to know what you guys think. Do you think the Spurs will keep KBD? I personally think they will, but I don't know, because then it will come down between him and Langford really made a statement this game. So I have no idea what's going to happen there. Also, Langford has more potential than KBD. So, I mean, if we're going based on potential alone, and this is a rebuilding team, KBD, honestly, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but he is pretty replaceable. Romeo Langford, his potential isn't necessarily easily replaceable, okay? It's just not. And, yeah, if you go back and look at his draft stock back in the day, just a few years ago, he was legit. So, I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see there, but KBD to me is the one you cut, and probably Johnson, and just hold on to Romeo Langford at this point. Joe Wieskamp, he already got his contract. He's all good, but he is continually scaring me. Okay, you guys know I was super high on him, but maybe speeding up that shot wasn't the best thing for him, because he has not been great. Just not great. But once again, only 9 minutes, so won't harp on it too much, but he did go 0 for 5, okay? Moving on. Gorgie, yeah, I don't have to focus on it. I'm not going to harp on whatever he did, but he had 4 blocks, which is pretty doggone good, especially for a vet like that. But anyways, moving on. Romeo Langford, he made a name for himself, or he didn't make a name for himself, but he definitely went out, did his thing. Not mad at that whatsoever. Actually shocked me, but 5 for 6 in only 14 minutes is pretty doggone good. I'm not gonna lie to you. Joshua Primo. Okay. All right. So some people said, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this. Okay. Hopefully I don't get in trouble for this. We're just gonna have that player. Some people said that Josh Primo forced the ball a little bit, like almost like he was trying to really get the coach's attention, and he was just flailing the ball up, and I didn't see it that way at all. Okay. So from what I've seen from Josh Primo was nothing but positive. Unfortunately, like I said, it seemed as if the San Antonio Spurs had Josh Primo for most of the game, passing it off to Kelden, passing it off to Devin Vassell, and not being able to utilize his scoring ability, or at least get more comfortable in that role. And I do not like that. I hate it, okay? I really hope that the San Antonio Spurs cannot make this same mistake. This guy is special. You got to let him be in an environment where he can just shine, and he can try to, make something happen. And if that's him coming off the bench, then so be it. But this right here, it was like, man, why the heck is he just passing off every game? But anyways, I didn't see a Josh Primo that was nervous. I didn't see a Josh Primo that was super sloppy, like some people said. I saw a Josh Primo that was still poised. Like, it was even one play, and it was pretty bad play. Okay, it was a bad turnover. But he had a turnover in which it should have been just an easy pass to Doug McDermott, but it ended up being stolen. But immediately on defense, he didn't freak out, because a lot of young players would freak out in that moment and get a little too antsy. He didn't. He tried to get the charge, and that allowed, I think Gorgie Jang was out there to get the block. One of our players got the block, okay? And it was because Josh Primo was able to slow him down. The entire game, he was poised. And he's shown that even with his handles, while his handles are the exact same, they're a little faster. Like he's faster with the ball. So overall, I really liked what I saw from Josh. I don't know what people are talking about when they said that he looked bad or he looked rough. I don't think so. I think he looked totally fine. And this is a guy that only played one summer league game. I mean, the second summer league game, he had COVID. So yeah, we've only really gotten to see him that one summer league game, and I don't necessarily like the way that we utilized him in this preseason game. So hopefully in the next one, we'll see way more, because I did not like this at all. Okay, I did not like it. Moving on, Malachi Branham, 2 for 3. That's pretty good. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. I'll be honest, he was pretty quiet, but he is so talented that we're probably going to see a lot of this where 2 for 3 isn't like phenomenal or anything, but we'll probably see quite a few games where he put up quite a few points, here and there, maybe like 14, 15 points, and we didn't even know that he scored it. And that's just because he's such a natural scorer. He's kind of a quiet player as well. Blake Wesley barely got to play, and I was assuming this would be the case when Josh Primo comes. I'm going to keep harping on this. Blake Wesley is probably going to the G League, and I think it'll really help him a lot. G League basically helps guards the most, and I think he can really utilize that, get a little quicker with his decision-making and all that good stuff. Jordan Hall, he played some really good or decent defense in this game, at least what I saw, some really good on-ball defense, but other than that, still a little sloppy. I mean, you played 9 minutes and got 3 turnovers. That's pretty bad. Don't get me wrong, my boy Josh Primo, he had twice as many minutes and got 4 turnovers, but 3 turnovers in 9 minutes is not good. So he's going to be in the G League more than likely as well. But overall, well, not more than likely, he will be in the G League. But overall, man, I liked what I saw from everybody, basically. Nothing really shocked me. I guess that's why I didn't initially do a video on it. It was just like, everything's what I thought it was. And hopefully in this next game, we see more of Josh Primo actually being able to be Josh Primo, because I swear to God, dude, I cannot deal with this whole get out there and just pass the ball. Like, we had this same issue last season, and when he's able to shine, he can shine, but you gotta let him loose a little bit, okay? Everybody says that I'm like this homer when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs. I'm not. I have disagreements all the time, and this is one of my disagreements. Let him loose. Do not have him out there as a guy that's just going to pass the ball and dump it off to Vassell and Kelden. We don't have a superstar. Those guys aren't superstars. Josh Primo obviously isn't a superstar yet, but out of this entire team, he has the most talent. I'm sorry. He just does. And if we're not going to allow him to shine, I think it's going to be disheartening. Okay, it's just not gonna. It'll be ugly. I don't want to see that. I want to see him develop. I want to see him be able to become that scorer. And we're gonna have one of those games. It's gonna be a Lonnie game. I swear. Just wait. Regular season start. It's gonna be a Lonnie game. And you know what I'm talking about? The Houston Rockets Lonnie game. It's gonna be one of those for Josh Primo in which he's just not going to be able to be stopped. And I am a firm believer of this, though. I'll be honest. Quite a few people say, well, Pop holds people back. I'm not going to necessarily go as far as saying he's holding Primo back. It's just that if Primo is out there with Vassell and Kelden, I understand that they have years over him and they will be the leaders of the team technically and everything. I would much rather him be in a position where he doesn't have to necessarily just dump it off. But I am a firm believer that if you're going to be special, you're going to be special. Pop is not going to hold you back from that. Manu Ginobili, the way that he plays, how erratic he was, there's no reason him and Pop should have worked. But it did, because Manu Ginobili is special. And I think the same thing with Josh Primo. It's going to show up, and it's going to be no denying how good he is. And he'll have to get those touches. But anyways, that's just my take on it. He did well, though. Only 3 for 7, not great. If we're just looking at statistics. So 1 for 2 from 3, pretty good. 3 for 3, free throw percentage, can't do better than that. And overall, as far as the eye test is concerned, quicker with the ball, much quicker with the ball. Decision making still on point, but much quicker with the ball. So you can tell that that's what he's been working on. And even if we go back and think about like some of the tapes that we watched on him during the offseason, it looked like he was working on his handles. So pretty nice. I'm proud of Josh, man. I'm proud of this entire team. I'm looking forward to this next game for them to go ahead and close out this preseason, and then we can get into the real games, okay? But anyways, if you guys like the content, please support your boy, clanthemerchfan.com. I love the love. Okay, I just love the love. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to hit me up, just DM me on Twitter, and that is Clan the Spurs Fan on Twitter, or you can just hit me up on Instagram, anywhere basically. But yeah, Twitter, Instagram, hit me up, say what's up. If there's anything you want to share, anything you want me to talk about, just let me know. If you want to support by being a patron, a YouTube member, it's only $2 per month. So the link in the description for that. And I do a giveaway every month. And actually, we're gonna have to get on that this month. Yeah, we're gonna do something. We'll do something. I'll get with you guys later. Until next time. Bye.